The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. As Jesus passed by, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the customs post. He said to him, "Follow me." And he got up and followed him. While he was at table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners came and sat with Jesus and his disciples. The Pharisees saw this and said to his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" He heard this and said, "Those who are well do not need a physician, but the sick do. Go and learn the meaning of the words, 'I desire mercy, not sacrifice.' I did not come to call the righteous, but sinners." The Gospel of the Lord. Yeah, it's such a beautiful passage, and it's in many ways emblematic of Matthew's Gospel that we get this story of his own conversion. I'm convinced of the fact that this is the same Matthew who writes the Gospel, and mainly by the clues that context gives us here, because here towards the getting towards, well, I don't know, I was going to say towards the middle of Matthew's Gospel. We're not really getting towards the middle of Matthew's Gospel, but what we see in this, in the picture that Matthew is painting of Jesus, we are now in a two-chapter section of Matthew's Gospel that include Jesus' mighty works. So there are great healings, driving out demons, and the rest. And right in the middle of this rehearsed list of miracles, if you will, we find Matthew's conversion. And it gives us, I hope, some sense of what our being called by Jesus means. It gives us some sense of what conversion, or I don't know, change of our whole life, change of the direction of our life, the change of my mind and my heart to be focused squarely on Jesus, what that really means. Because here when Jesus calls me, he says, "Follow me," what we hear is he got up and followed him. And again, it's that same word. It's that same word for resurrection. He got up and followed him. What we see there is that conversion to Jesus is a death to life transition. I know we've kind of rehearsed this before as well. The sense of it's not that Jesus came to make bad men good. Jesus came to make dead men alive. Do we experience that for ourselves, or do we not? And it's important to see it that way, because if we don't, if we think that God came to make bad men good, we think of, I'll use an analogy, right? We think of the Christian faith or life as icing on the cake, right? So, of course, we've done the work, right? We've cracked the eggs. We've prepared the batter. We've cooked it, right? We've baked it. We've baked the cake. And now here's Christian life. Here's the call, and it just makes things look a little bit prettier, right? It makes things a good bit sweeter, perhaps. But the rest. But it's not the way. Instead, when we see that Jesus' call is a death to life call, then we realize we don't have cake at all without Jesus, right? We don't have the ingredients to make a cake at all without Jesus. Is it that complete a picture for us of following Jesus? Have we been through this death to life conversion? Have we got up and followed him? Because where we get up and follow Jesus, we're able to live into a new world that is formed by a heart exchange, that we have hearts like unto his, by his gift, by the gift of grace, right? By his gift alone. What did any of us do to merit the call? What did any of us do to earn that entrance into life that Jesus not only paved for us, but that he made possible. Right? Jesus is right at the center, and Jesus is the source of all life. And if we want life at all, then we have to find it in him. We have to find it right in him. And this is it, right? He calls and we answer. And then, of course, this is it, right? I mean, this is the passage always, I think, is always good news for us. Yeah, it's always good news for us, this passage, when we hear that Jesus did not come to call the righteous but sinners. At least I hope that's good news for you. But you have to identify as a sinner who's in need of the mercy of God in order for that to be good news. And again, it's the same, right? It's the same analogy. If it's just about making bad men good, or if it's just about, the icing on the cake, yeah, do you know? Now, I don't know, some of you need icing with your cake, but some of you understand that you can have cake without icing. Fewer perhaps. But, it's not, if we have it all already, if we have our lives figured out already, we just want Jesus to chip in, right? Just want Jesus, a little bit of Jesus every now and again, I don't know, maybe this spoonful of sugar, perhaps, a little different analogy. But this is what is it going to mean for us? What does it mean for us? It means that we cannot receive the mercy of God. It's important, right, to see that we do not earn what we have received from Jesus. We do not earn the call. We don't even earn the process. Like in terms of our I say our earning it, but I don't want to say merit because we get into different theological discussion at that point. But this is the challenge. If we think that we earn the grace of God, then we, in our exchanges with people as they relate to mercy, in our relationships, we're always considering who's worthy and who's not. And yet when we see ourselves as sinners in need of mercy, well, now we're able to rely on the mercy of God, and we're able to bring that to life for everyone, no matter what our judgment of their merit is. And this is how the grace of God is unleashed on earth. This is how the mercy of God comes to life as a wave that sweeps across the face of the earth, renewing God's good world, renewing human hearts and minds and his whole creation besides. And this is it. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, right? Can we follow Jesus today in faith, in the way of love? Can we do it? Of course, of our own strength, we can't. Of our own strength, we can't. In fact, in our own planning and dreams and ambitions and desires, all too often we're drifting back into the old world, where we're drifting back into the world that only has politics as a solution, that only has, different arrangement of human beings as a solution, that only has these kind of mechanisms that help us to not interact really, but to keep us each in our places, this kind of very delicate peace that the world, at least our world, has. But Jesus calls us to something more, right? He calls us to something more. He calls us to the way of love. And in order for us to live that way, to truly live that way, we have to rise with him to new life. We have to receive his new life, which is God's own life of love. And then it's ours to live it out with the strength that he gives. And my friends, this is what faith is. Faith, and we've seen it to this point in the Gospel of Matthew, faith is seeing that God's authority is at work in Jesus and entrusting ourselves to him and to his power. And when we do that, yes, our hearts are made like unto his, but our lives start to reflect his goodness, his strength, his mercy. If they don't, we're not doing it. If they don't, we're just not doing it. And there's nothing, right? Sacrifice in the old covenant, sacrifice is up here, right? Sacrifice is a real high point. It's a priority. But here, mercy triumphs over sacrifice. So the same for us, and all our many practices of the faith, all our many devotions and the rest, things that ought to serve to inflame our hearts to live out the charity of God. So be it. But if our quote unquote practice of the faith doesn't lead to mercy, we got to think it through again. We got to think it through again, because mercy is now the high point of the gospel. We see it in Christ Jesus, come to life to us in Christ Jesus. And now, not only has he made that path possible for us, not only has he, pioneered that way, he's also made that path possible for us. When we have faith in him, we can do it too. We can embody the charity and mercy of God as well.